Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the class of 503 during this Christmas season. Thank you for giving up some of your time to join me in class. I never take you for granted. I'm appreciative. I see you, Reverend Baxter, back there, and Mr. Henry Ramey, and I see some others back there that I can't recognize. The old man is getting dim. Sight is getting a little dim, but I recognize you, and I appreciate all of you all for joining me in class during this very busy holiday season. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Marsh Merriweather, the author of Enough is Enough, Public Education Inspired Out of Control, and the host of Straight Talking Room 503. Call a friend, text a friend, tell a friend. Professor Merriweather's in class, and he's going to tell the messy truth about what's going on with our children, as well as what's going on in America. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the gift that our President of the United States of America gave us for Christmas. A Christmas gift from our President. Except instead of a gift, it was a windfall for Trump and his cronies and Senator Corker. A tax cut for the wealthy. A tax hike for middle class. 13 million new uninsured higher insurance premium. $25 million cut in Medicare. And no chip and diaper fix. That's what our President, John J. Trump, gave the people of America. The big gift went to corporation and his cronies and his friends, and those Republicans in the House and Senate that voted for this bill. But what do we receive? Let me tell you what I received and what a lot of you received. Our God sent his only son into the world for us. Not just this holiday season, but for the rest of our life here on earth. So that's the gift that I'm going to remember that is under the tree. For this is not our birthday. This is the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Happy birthday, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and we're thankful. So go and call a friend, text a friend, tweet a friend, snapshot a friend. Tell them that Professor Merriweather is in class and they need to come on because we need to get started. Ladies and gentlemen, God came into this world to help us. He came down to hang out with just the common folks. Nowhere in your Bible will you read that he was hanging out with senators and congressmen and presidents of corporations, CEOs of big corporations, and hanging out with the rich. He came to hang out with just the average poor people of the world. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I thank God that you don't have to be rich in order to be blessed by God. And that all of these people who are mistreating the children, voting and taking money away from them, putting money out of public education, they shall pay for it because the Bible tells us you reap what you sow. So maybe they will have a big tax write-off and more money in their account, and things will go good for the president and his family and Corker and the rest of the big Republicans. But ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't trade my life right now for either one of them. For what they don't know or they should know or they ignoring, God is going to hold them accountable for taking from the least. He said, what you do to the least of thee, you have done it unto me. It is not our job to fix people. It's our job to love them while they're broken. And many of our people in this holiday season are broken. That's what the faith-based community need to be doing. Giving back to Christ for what he's blessed them for. Help those who are broken. We have our children who attend in public education, living in broken homes, down in spirit. We need to reach out to them. this season and every season. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that he is the reason for the season. But I guess I understand why some of our big Republican friends that are enjoying Christmas in their big homes and thinking about the money that they have in the bank and what they're going to invest in. But I want to say this before we go to break. How can you have a relationship with God if you're out of touch with God? Again, how can you have a relationship with God and you're out of touch with God? Think about that while we go to break. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to, before we move on, share some local news with you. If you remember in the last class, we talked about the protest was going on with the black students at in Brownsville Haywood High School over in Brownsville, Tennessee, which is about less than 30 miles from Jackson, Tennessee, my hometown. And if you remember, ladies and gentlemen, the young people went to the principal and the assistant principal. The principal was white and the assistant principal was black. They went to discuss their grievances. And according to Mr. Green, the student that led the protest, he said that the principal and the assistant principal didn't take them, they took it lightly, and that they really kind of laughed it off and it wasn't serious with them at all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they were suspended from their job and sent to other places. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joel Hassel, he interviewed here in the Madison County area for superintendent of school, along with our first black superintendent here in Madison County school system. And Mr. Joel Hassel did not get the superintendent job for, as you know, Dr. Jones was elected, appointed as our superintendent here in Madison County, my hometown. But Mr. Joel Hassel went on and received a superintendent job in Brownsville, Tennessee, while the young people was protesting. Ladies and gentlemen, thank God he knew how to handle the situation. He met with the students, took the students serious, and met their demands. They wanted to make sure that the principal and the assistant principal was dealt with, and that the students was dealt with that sent the racial slurs as well as threats on their lives. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the students were removed and suspended from the school, as well as the administration. So, ladies and gentlemen, watch this here. Mr. Hassel, on yesterday, has appointed a new principal and a new assistant principal. Now, watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, keep in mind, over in Madison County, our administrations hired 138 teachers, and not even 30 of them look like me. In the central office, the administrator of academics was pushed down and a friend placed in her position. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Janice Epperson, who was over all of the principals, which is majority of them white, was moved from her position and sent to the new JCM, which is Liberty. And a friend was placed in that position. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at administration, Mr. Yancey, Coach Yancey, who was at the alternative school, who was at the early college high school, along with a white principal in the African-American community, he was demoted and a white placed in his position. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can go on and on and on, because you should remember my previous lessons. Blacks are not faring well in our hometown. But Mr. Hassel, who didn't get the job, let's see what kind of a man he is. He appointed Miss Latonya Jackson, a black female, to replace the white principal. So what's going on in Brownsville, a town not far from here? And then we look at Madison County, which is a larger town, with a whole lot of so-called intelligent people, faith-based community, sororities, fraternities, civil rights organizations, people who said they know everything, they're not speaking up in my hometown. But in Brownsville, those African Americans, and I say black because I'm not an African American, I'm an American, just happen to be black. But ladies and gentlemen, not saying anything, but Mr. Joel Hassan, he's not doing the same thing as over in Madison County. He is replacing the white principal with a black female. He didn't stop there. He appointed Steve Hookfin as the assistant principal over in Haywood County. And then, ladies and gentlemen, Teresa Halbrook, Tressy Halbrook, he made her the East Intermediate Assistant Principal, white. 2 blacks, 1 white. Madison County, whole lot of whites, less black. Whites promoted, blacks demoted. Coach Yancey has now moved on to Memphis, Tennessee. And when I talked with him, he told me, Mr. Merriweather, I have a family too. And I received a demotion and less pay. While the guy that I took his place, he went to the early college high school and he's making more money. Ladies and gentlemen, and my students of the class, when you look at our system and all of the private schools inside a public school, Mr. Merrill, what do you mean when you say it like that? We're talking about where the kids that are elite with a few hands full of us, where the honor student go, where Mr. Charlie's daughters and son attend school, not Bubba, Shanika, Tay-Tay. All of those schools, it is not a coincidence. All of those schools have white administrators. Southside, a reward school, white female. Early college high school, white principal, white assistant principal, right dead in East Jackson. Northeast Academy, which is headed up by a white female. Madison Academic, a 13-year in a row reward school recognized all across the country, where Miss Janice Epperson, was the principal, moved her out and put a white male in there. So that when we look back, I may look like I'm stupid, but I'm not. So when we look in Madison County and look at the schools that are doing real well, we can very easily say, oh, I know why. Because the administrators are white. Ladies and gentlemen, what a sad commentary during this Christmas holiday and holiday season, where you sit back and celebrate and our kids are unable to read on grade level. My good friend, that was a principal, Dr. Charles Clark, at the closed JCM, is having a seminar where he's teaching how to improve the classroom climate, classroom management, how to motivate, and how to teach all children. It would just look like to me that some of the people who are grinning and scratching and going, how you man, how you doing, son, and so, how you board member, so, look like to me they be saying, we need to send our teachers. You hired a bunch of the other teachers straight out of college, universities, and yet our grades and our reading is going downhill. They need to learn how to teach all children. But no, this holiday season, we still kissing butt with people who care nothing about our children. Oh, I told you I was going to be real in this class. I'm not looking for a job, nothing they can do with me, but either join me or get the hell out of my way. That's the only thing that they can do with me. But I want to congratulate Miss Jackson, and certainly want to congratulate Mr. Steve Hookfin. Mr. Hookfin was one of my gym teachers when he came to my school and I observed him for just 2 weeks. I said to him, this is a good school, but I think you'll be stagnated by staying here because I see you going to heights. You're going to do extremely well. You got what it takes. You got leadership ability. He left my school the next year and was sent to begin coaching at Liberty. He went from Liberty to other schools, and then from there to Haywood High School, and now the assistant principal. And ladies and gentlemen, mark my word, one day we shall celebrate him as principal of a very fine high school. So ladies and gentlemen, my hat go off to Mr. Hassel for doing the right thing. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, no matter what you do and how much money you make and how many friends pat you on the back, all that matters is what God think about you. I'm not really concerned about what people think about Professor Merriweather in this city. You can stick it in a net crossways what I think about it. What I do think about is what does God think about me? I don't care about really what you know, but what God know about me. And so, ladies and gentlemen, there's a day that it's going to come when you got to lay down and die, and you got to meet your maker. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen, you got to do the right thing. And we're just simply asking in my hometown and across this country, do the right thing. Daddy told me before he left this world and went to be with Jesus, boy, if you do the right thing, the right things will come back to you. You do the wrong thing, and bad things will happen to you, and you will not spend eternity with the Lord and Maker. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to think about that. Not only during the Christmas season and the holiday season, we need to think about it every day of our life. Are we doing the right thing for Jesus? Let me share something else with you, ladies and gentlemen, so maybe to help you kind of to understand where I'm coming from, class. The question is, why is it that people of color has been kept down and kept out and denied so much? Because, ladies and gentlemen, just like in the Bible, I was noticing just this week when they showed Jesus on the video carrying the cross, they showed a white man carrying the cross. And that's a lie. Ladies and gentlemen, do your background work. Simon was a man of dark complexion. He was most likely more like me than he would be like our mayor and like our congressmen and Sassa and President Trump. They have kept the history down. But ladies and gentlemen, they know that whenever you press something down, and it goes so far, it can't go any further. Only thing can happen is it rise, and they know if we as a people, black people I'm talking about, are given a chance, we shall rise. We build Charleston, South Carolina. Look at that city. People are going there from all over the world just to witness the structure. We build the White House while Donald Trump in, and yet he has forgotten it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to say that this week we can celebrate with Birmingham, Alabama. I believe it's the third largest, and help me if I'm wrong, city in Birmingham. In Alabama, I'm sorry, excuse me. And we now have a young black brother who's been elected as the mayor of Birmingham, Alabama. Not even 40, in his 30s, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, if you give us a chance, we can excel. That's what Professor Merriweather is saying. Give us a chance. White America knows that if we get a chance, we shall excel. But then the concern becomes, will they marry my daughter? Will they live next door? Will they keep my sons and daughters and friends from getting promotions and what have you? The answer is yes, sir. It certainly will happen, and they know that. Let's keep it real now. But ladies and gentlemen, just like Dr. King said, a lie can't live forever. The truth can't be crushed down forever. This week I was very proud as I looked on TV. This was last weekend. On the Today Show, a 16-year-old black male was chosen and accepted, should be the better word, was accepted at Harvard University. His brother, in the same family, black family we're talking about, 16, was accepted at Stanford University. Ladies and gentlemen, America knows that if you give us the same opportunity, we shall excel. Everybody only have 5 senses. It doesn't make any difference. You don't have more because you're white or less because you're black. God blessed us the same. He said we're equal in his sight. But ladies and gentlemen, I thought so much about myself. I thought about being one among the first 12 blacks who went to integrated schools and what I went through at Jackson Junior High School, the first school we went to integrate. I thought about what I went through at Jackson High School, the first high school among the first 12 blacks that went to Jackson High School, what I went through being in that all-white class. And ladies and gentlemen, it has helped me to be who I am today. So no one can put a muzzle on me and quieten me. I told you before, I've gotten phone calls from pastors of mega church who didn't look like me. And then some who do look like me. Saying, Mr. Meriwether, will you quieten it down? Don't talk about what's going on in Madison County school system. In short, what they're saying, so a few of us can make our dollars. You revealing some stuff. We know that you got some clergy, some NAACP, 100 black men, red, cold red, sororities and fraternities that are not addressing it just like you and Baxter is addressing it. And then right, Brother Baxter. And so just be quiet. But ladies and gentlemen, I shall not be quiet. I shall continue to struggle and to fight with you or without you. I ask you every week, clergies, join me. And then one clergy is telling me the reason that I'm complaining so much because I'm unhappy, I'm miserable. Ladies and gentlemen, what a sad day in my hometown. Well, just up the road, Haywood County, they have a black mayor. They had a black sheriff, and I believe they have one now. Yes, they do. And now that they have a black female teacher and a principal and a black assistant principal. But yet in Madison County, it's kind of lily white around here. Only time we see some blackness is when they got them on a crime watch. That's where we showing up. Our children can't get jobs. I know this week I've been doing a little Christmas shopping and then been going out and eating out. And when I go to Dodd, Burger King, KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, and all of those places, that's who running the place. But then when I go out to the mall, faith-based community, civil rights organization, and fraternities and whatever, and then you go in the mall, all of the people that are working in the jewelry stores, in the banks, all of those people don't look like us. But yet you telling Nene and Tay-Tay them you can get a job. Why don't you be real with them, say you can get a job in a fast food place? And I'm not like Professor Meriwether and Baxter. I'm not willing to stand up and tell you the truth. I'm used to Mr. Charlie telling us what to move. I just wonder about our faith-based community. They know that 2018 is coming up. And they must be thinking about the politicians coming by and greasing their hand. How Pastor so-and-so, thank you so much for letting me speak to your congregation. And then you see them put their hand like that in the pocket, some of them. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it real. It's time to wake up the people and tell them the truth. Stay with me. Ladies and gentlemen, I had an opportunity on last night to look at a movie that I've been wanting to look at it, and it's called Hidden Figures. I hope that you'll take an opportunity to look at it on Netflix or whatever streaming device that you have, and or go to the movie or go to Redbox and rent it. Every black American need to see this movie, Hidden Figures. It's about 3 black ladies and their contribution to space, to NASA, and to placing John Glenn on the moon. Ladies and gentlemen, this story of what has happened has been kept from Black America. White America know about it, but they don't want Black America to know that we make contributions just like them, and in most cases, when we do, we have a real impact. But there are 3 Black ladies by the name of Katherine Johnson, Mary Jackson, and Dorothy Vaughan. 3 Black women who helped send John Glenn to the moon. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll see the movie. If it had not been for these 3 ladies being engineers and mathematicians, it would not have happened. You got to see the movie, how that these 3 Black ladies, how they was treated by their white counterparts when they came to work and what they had to go through. But they kept on because they wanted to help America to excel in the space program. We as a people, we have never been begrudging and hateful people. We've been forgiving people. The gentleman who went in the church and shot those Black people in the church, what did the people say? We forgive them. We as a Black race have always been forgiven. We had never been brought up to be haters. We've been brought up to be godlike. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you really need to see this movie. They served as the brain behind the greatest operation in history, which was going to the moon. These women was a part of the one giant step for mankind. They was a part of that. Let the truth be known that these mathematicians and engineers made it possible for a white astronaut to go into space. The true story of Hidden Figure, the forgotten women who helped win the space race. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to allow you to get out of class a little early due to the season. Some of you may have some shopping that you haven't completed. But I want you to know, Professor Merriweather and my good friend, Professor Baxter, and I will continue the struggle as we conclude this year and as we go into a brand new year. I'll be right back with you. We have one more session, I believe, before the year go out, but we'll continue to bring you the unadulterated truth. It's time now for our faith-based community to leave the pulpit and stand up and be counted. It's time for our civil rights organizations to stand up and be counted. It's time for our organization, and I noticed one of the organizations went to one of our local schools over in the hood and was passing out backpack. And that's wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I'm not want to be negative. I'm just telling you that we need to ask the question while we're passing out the backpack. Why can't Tay read? I know she can put the backpack on, and I know she can put her books in the bag. But why can't she read on grade level? While Melanie is reading on grade level. She's in the honor program. She's going to Madison. Tay is not able to go because her grades are not up to par. We need to ask some serious questions as we conclude this year. It's a wonderful thing to say, how you doing, Mr. Superintendent? But then we want to need to say to the superintendent, why can't we see a real difference in our school system? Why can't my daughter, who just came out of Freed Harmon, why can't she get a job? She's been trying too. Is she not as important as your friends? We need to ask those questions. Why is that the head of academics in Madison County, all of them who are heading up academics that affects our children, why is they don't look like us? We need to ask some questions. Why? But ladies and gentlemen, I promise to let you out, and I'm going to do that. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year from my family to your family. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you again before this year is out, if the Lord said the same. But if not, ladies and gentlemen, great is my reward in heaven. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself, and remember the reason for the season. Take care of yourself. I love you. Even though I'm tough and hard on you, I'm not here to bring out the negative. I'm out here to bring out the truth, and if the truth happen to be positive, wonderful. But if the truth happen to be negative, let's deal with it. Take care, ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again. Again, Merry Christmas and a prosperous new year.